We got Jews in the house.
Ding dong. Hello?
Yes, y'all infidels, that's right, we're back here live. Twitch.tv/Hamin Media, Ben Hamin YouTube channel with the Hamin Army faithful as we head into blood and guts. You never know who's going to pop up out of the foxhole yet. A Suzuki, an Okada, a Takahashi, a Yakuza. You never know where it's coming from. So watch your back, because you best to watch your front. It's RBV, Hacker Hamin. It's time to light the fuse. YOLO! Yeah, what's good, guys? We're back in action. Big Friday locker room this morning with Big Stevie Cool. 2 hours for all you Channel Attitude subscribers. ChannelAttitude.com. More updates on NDAs and sex scandals and fallouts and the realignment of corporate structures and who's the next to fall and injury updates. It's going to be a long, hot summer, baby, but we're going to be here to cover it all. And I'm here with the man with the plan. He's no Stan. It's my man, R to the B to the V. What's good, Rick?
Hey, speaking of hashtag RBV eats out last night, went out for dinner, man, and the Tanahashi was terrible.
Yeah.
But we did get a nice Okada appetizer. That was all right. We shared that, so it was pretty good.
Nice. It's always a delicious, an Oishi sushi kind of night. Absolutely. So I wouldn't mind having a little tuna myself there. I love some good sushi, man. But yeah, we're going to break it down quick here, guys. I got to take one of the dogs of war to the vets. Speaking of the vet's in the chat room right now. So vet, you can come get the dog if you want, but she's got to have a tooth pulled here. So yeah, she's old, man. And she's been eating the harder kibble from the other bulls because I think she's trying to take it out herself. So we got to get it taken care of. We got to take care of the dogs of war on the perimeter check, man. Everybody's doing good on this end. Hopefully everything's great in OHIO,
baby.
And shout out to IO Improv Olympic in Chicago as well. But yeah, man, it was a crazy day of headlines already, and started off and wrapped it up with some serious talk. So check that out, channelattitude.com, the only place to get the Friday veteran locker room, and great responses, great guests the last 3 months, really great host. It's been some wonderful shows here at HMG. RBV, man, you got
there to go. I'd say there to go to deep dive into the headlines, because there's plenty of them out there. Hey, but we don't have a lot of time on the fuse today. So what we do have some topics involving AEW that can sprinkle into the review for. So we'll intertwine those to get through this thing. But I know, Ben, just real briefly to touch base, I'm sure you and Stevie really deep dived into this thing. But you shared it in the chat before we went on air here, and a lot of speculation and devaluing possibly happening inside of WWE. $500 million lost by the company during the announcement of the sex scandal 22.
Yeah, man, we had seen not a lot of dip in price. I mean, it'll never probably be back up to the price of, what was it, $120 a share with WWE Network, and we've been floundering between 80 and 60 kind of since the sell off of that. But yeah, dude, this scandal is going to make waves, and if you're talking about a guy who's worth $4 million, $500 million, 500 million, that's a pretty good chunk right there. 12.5% of your value losing. We in the HMG producers chat, obviously Colin and Plaja and those guys are heavy hitters when it comes to investment every day, and they're doing the puts against them going against us below a certain mark and things like that. It's still a little above my understanding. I mean, I just don't have the time to study it to really understand how to play that game. But Colin Weisheim does a great job with it. And that, predictions are that it's going to drop lower as more and more, scandal may drop. And he just lost the lawsuit to Oliver Luck, or settled out of court, excuse me.
Another settlement.
Yeah, another settlement. And Whose money was that? Because XFL and, and the sell off to Rock and all this stuff, man. So it doesn't look like trends will be going upward anytime soon.
Actually, I am a stockholder. Keep a loose eye on it, but as you said, I really look to the Plaza and Colin Aaron, especially our own Frito Scoops, William Alicia, who's constantly in on the corporate side news of WWE. Now, let me ask you just real quick, Ben, on it. Possibilities at some point. Still, he holds the majority of the shares, the voting control on things. Vince McMahon possibly taking this thing private again. Would you foresee that anywhere? Would that help for a sale in the future? Are they too far deep into the game?
Why would you want to? Let's start there of why. And there was the other big story is that there's 5 law firms right now looking at him for class action suits, which means they're out there looking and probably contacting former workers and former people in the office to see if there was any other indiscretions or, to get on this. Now, if you have one law firm working against you, that's one thing. If you have 5 lawyers, that's one thing. This is 5 law firms.
You got entire armies with their guns aimed right at you.
Yeah, bro. So, Dan McDevitt or Jerry McDevitt.
Germany wasn't facing this much firepower.
Yeah, Jerry McDevitt, is capable of a lot, and he's gotten Vince over in a lot of court cases, whether it's being sued over concussions, the MLW stuff that's in litigation now. Steroid scandal. But, dude, that guy's got to be like, all right, I'm about ready to hang up my Spurs too after 30 years. Now you got 5, law firms circling to take big bites out. What if he cashes out and is like, good luck in your future endeavors, man? I appreciate it, but I just don't got this big fight in me to go ahead and knuckle up. But greed and power conquer all. And, everybody's got a price for the $1 billion man. So if he wants him around, he'll stay around. But, it's an interesting and scary time over there, I'm sure. And it read in the sheets that the climate is like it usually is. Keep your head down and wait for the scapegoats to get, sacrificed. And when the dust settles, who's got the power? And that's who we kiss ass up to. And even though we might feel one way, we got to sell it and keep our head down and wait for the heat to pass, because you don't want to just get caught with some random shots, because they're looking to offload some of their frustration and they're looking for any little excuse to fucking cut a throat real quick to make themselves feel better. So it's wrestling is usual.
I agree over here. Frank Spickerbarrel saying, big companies always have lawsuits. This might be a little bit exaggerated to us because we are inside of the bubble, and of course they are a hot topic, so everyone's going to line up their guns to go at them. But you kind of said there, man, WWE's been through this before. They know how to play this game.
Not from in-house, though. Like, that's the big difference. This is, they tried to put out the HR.
What do you say? The steroid thing, you got the talents turning on. You got word spread here, and he still holds, calm and collective. I think they're kind of comparable. And a lot of this being stirred on the sheets is coming from the AEW. What can he suck through a garden hose? Meltzer's the one.
The Boys versus The Office is a different mafia look. You know what I mean? Like, those guys could have, easily cut Vince's throat back then, but then where would we have been, and you don't want to, bite the hand that feeds you. So they keep their mouth shut. The Office aren't wannabe stars or going to be on camera. It's a different look. And when HR goes, we need to look at this and reassess and come up with a new policy for inter-office dating. Oh, really? How about the $1 billion CEO doesn't fuck whoever he wants and pays them off in hush money? Is that the policy you're going to come up with? Okay, I abide by that. If I ever become CEO of WWE, I guarantee not to fuck the underling help and then pay them off so our stock price doesn't plummet as a scandal. That's going to be a beautiful HR fucking memo that'll get all written up in their own little stupid vernacular, and it'll apply to everybody else. So no fucking agent can bang a diva, but the reality is Vince and fucking the upper echelon can still do whatever the fuck they want to whoever they want and then pay them off. Or black.
That's the American dream, to rise to the head of a company. What is the purpose if you can't just bang whoever the hell you want and pay them off?
You can. They're called hookers.
I don't want to live in that America.
don't shit where you eat. Be fucking smart. You're like, the megalomania and the narcissism becomes too much, and the ego is too much. And this is the payback for it all. So definitely a scary week over there.
Just remember, you don't pay hookers for sex. You pay them to go away.
Well, that's fine, because this guy's supposed to fucking have plenty to do. Like,
for me,
go ahead.
There's still a whole lot that we can just kick back. This is more pro wrestling than anything we're seeing in pro wrestling. It is the most entertaining thing out there. There's so many things we could continue to talk about here, but hey, a lot getting in on Dynamite this week, as they got a lot on their plate. You know, they got some major events coming up, and they're trying to get everything squeezed in, working around all of these roster moves.
Not say major events. Let's just say events.
Well, we are looking forward to it. I'm sure we're going to be touching on it Monday in the locker room. The Forbidden Door coming up this Sunday. This was kind of interesting, jumped out to me, and it's one of those where I just kind of shake my head and wonder, why is he doing this? Again, Tony Khan, I believe he's on Busted Open Radio, but he's there defending some of the choices that we're going and some of the matchups we're going to see at Forbidden Door. Kind of, again, which wasn't on me. I had these great plans, but I got injuries. I got companies that don't want to work together. This goes back to what you were talking about last week. As a promoter, the booker, you've always got to be ready for your plans. And this would be in the NFL, like, oh, we were going to win a Super Bowl, but everyone, it's continued excuses where he doesn't have to accept what's, I guess, what's falling on his shoulders here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's not the way you want to do it, to be honest with you. You have to say, yeah, I'm excited about this. Like, I work best under pressure, and cards subject to change. And sometimes that opens up opportunities that you weren't even thinking of. I would have liked to have this roadmap of stories I wanted to tell, but because of the way life is and injuries, then I have to, it gives me a creative challenge to overcome. And I think we've done a good job at getting a great show put together, as opposed to like, oh, I've had this, but now you're going to get this. And especially, why are we even promoting this show when you're working with the Yakuza now, and there's sex scandal on that side as well? We've covered all of this instead of staying small. And then after last week's abysmal numbers, 770,000 and 331,000 proves, and you can say, well, hockey and basketball were on, and that doesn't account for a quarter of your 25% of your fan base leaving. What that accounts for is that there is no long-term storyline, that nobody knows these guys from New Japan, that there is no continuity. And now we're giving guys from Ring of Honor time on our show that aren't even involved in a story. And all the people that we had invested in and put time in and have under contract, we're not even using them on our TV show. So anybody tuning in who's a regular fan is waiting to see storyline and exposition of the characters they know. You don't get that. Anybody who is a casual fan tunes in and goes, I don't know any of these fucking Japanese guys.
No.
So now you've lost twice in your home court and your fucking away game. So it's just a very supermark look to do this pay-per-view and keep promoting it like it's that, and that everybody knows who these dudes are, when you couldn't pick them out of a police lineup one from the next.
Well, on this week's edition of Dynamite, we do have opening up one of those mentioned injuries that was potentially big plans to be a part of Forbidden Door. He lets us know that he is not going to be there. That is Bryan Danielson. He is out with an undisclosed injury. Really not seeing any reports on what that is, but he is unable to perform. So he's going to have a mystery ally, someone that he has personally recruited, that's going to step in and take his place as he heads into Forbidden Door.
Yeah, I guess.
And he's got Zack Sabre Jr. that he'll be.
Yeah, well, I mean, this promo was even weird, of like Daniel kind of laughing at wrestling and, didn't you know I'm a heel? I came out
of the bad guy,
even though I'm wearing a white shirt. And you're just like, well, what about the leg injury and what's really going on? And this is a weird thing. And then him going, but I'm not going to tell you who. And then he goes, but if it was Zack Sabre Jr., then they're like the backhanded reveal, that's his
opponent.
Oh yeah, well, like you would have seen the best technical wrestling or whatever, but like you build up to an announcement to make the announcement, not take it away and then backhandedly 2 lines later leak it where it's not like the high point. He took to the high point and took it away and then gave it to him. Like, like doesn't make any sense whatsoever, in a very not hot way to start your show off. You know what I mean? It didn't start with action, really low energy. So now we're just basking in the glory of Daniel Bryan's celebrity that, hey, remember he's WWE champ and now he's on this show and he can't fight. Oh, okay. So what the fuck do I care about seeing in the pay-per-view, bro?
Now, you know, a lot of speculation out there inside of the bubble. Who's could be Cesaro, a big name, Johnny Gargano out there. Did they make a mistake here? You know, we're talking about the falling numbers, the seemingly failing interest from the larger audience here. Was it a mistake not to give us that replacement here?
I mean,
if you're talking to someone that's already turned off to, man, I don't know about, you know, I don't know these New Japan guys. I don't know what's going on. A lot of this stuff is the promise of a mystery person to take on Zack Sabre Jr., who I may not have heard of as a casual. Is that enough for me to put out the $50?
No, not even a little bit, bro. Like, and the other thing is, why bring Zack Sabre Jr. in here? Because, and I'll say, I know they're not, and people could say the same thing about me and every other fucking sheet character, but you got Will Ospreay. Zack Sabre Jr. and Will Ospreay can kind of be fucking swapped in and swapped out for great athletes that not a lot of people know, and they're going to fucking do it. So you got one guy over the week before, and now this dude's here. It takes the shine off of both of them instead of featuring them the right way, how they should be put over, you know? So this was a lackluster way to start the show and not the best use of Daniel Bryan, in my opinion. And why do you want him to be a heel if he's with Blackpool Combat Club, which is like the babyface thing that everybody wants to do? It just not the best note to kick things off. Here's somebody kicking it off. It's our man.
There he is.
You've seen him all over HMG.
Captain New Japan is here to save the day.
Yes.
The VBC, you've seen him on SmackDown Attack. We appreciate you, Vet, filling in and giving your opinion across the wrestling world.
Guys, I'm sick of myself. But
well,
I just thought I'm not here to make the show longer and cut promos. I'm only here just to add just a little comment here and there, just to clarify some points for you guys, because I follow all this stuff and you guys don't. So it's only fair to you guys and the listeners that we get some, just a few little points here and there. Sure. You're right about this segment being awkward. It was awkward and stupid, and I didn't like it. But here's my point. Zack Sabre Jr. is one of the few people in the world that Danielson can have a match with and not get hurt for guaranteed, because Zack Sabre doesn't do anything except fake wrestle. So if Danielson is really hurt and can't go, in like what he would consider full capacity, he can have a match with Zack Sabre where Zack Sabre fucks him up with some joint hold or whatever, and that will be his excuse. I assume the reason that he wouldn't work with Zack is because then they'd be like, well, he worked with Zack, so why can't he be in Blood and Guts on Wednesday? So the way you get out of it is you injure him at the pay-per-view with Zack, breaking his knee or whatever, and then there you go, heat on Zack, one point for New Japan, and then Danielson's out of Blood and Guts, and then he can bring in his mystery opponent then.
If he was really a man of honor and wanted to do it, Zack Sabre Jr. would have come down to the ring last night, taken his leg out, and let Bryan Danielson break his leg with a baseball bat. So going into Blood and Guts, they were both injured, and then that would be a true Ring of Honor match. That would have been a better.
On the Danielson speculation, again, nothing confirmed out there. They think it might be again involved with the concussion protocol.
Shocker, bro. Like you're going to hire the Hardy Boys, Daniel Bryan, guys who've been on the fucking shelf, who had this, who have long-term concussive syndrome, and they want to come back to make that payday, and then you're going to have them ring their bell. It only takes one, and you're back on the shelf forever. So hopefully Khan was smart enough to get some type of insurance policy against those guys where if they can't perform, then X amount kicks in where, but I doubt that. He was probably just happy to have ex-WWE champs on his show, man. But
that's why I said Zach is the perfect guy, because even if it was a concussion thing, Zach doesn't make you take any bumps. You don't take bumps.
Yeah, you could just work a wrist lock and do that all day. Like that's
So
then we go to another fucking.
I was going to say, followed up, we got part of the Blackpool Combat Club, John Moxley here. He's talking about he's going after Tanahashi. It's been a 3-year chase, and this Sunday, respect goes out the window because Moxley respects no one inside the ring, and he is coming home the interim AEW World Heavyweight Champion.
Here's just the thing I have an issue with, and I know it's New Japan style, but it gets presented in this comic book. Everyone's, and then the big challenge will be, and everything gets billboarded with bright eyes like it's the fucking Shinobi Showdown of the Last Samurais. Every segment gets presented like that. And Mox doing wrestling voice backstage and doing that and seeing like, now I'm going to hold myself to show that it's internalized. And it just feels all anime and stupid as fuck to me. It doesn't, these types of wrestling promos don't connect. There's no truth in them. Nobody's talking like a normal person talks, and nobody's interacting with the camera. Like, imagine having a conversation with a guy who's fucking walking back and forth, and then I'm going to do this and do that. And I'm like, motherfucker, I'm right here. Talk to me. You got a problem? Say something instead of I'm the best who ever did this thing. And I know Takahashi, they call it. Like, I just like, stop with the bad acting, please, everyone. And that's really the presentation of where New Japan needs this respect, because it's a kingdom of fucking honor and all this bullshit over there, dude. It just feels like a walking cartoon to me.
That's a John Moxley problem. He's always done this. I don't know where New Japan comes into it, because their production and like packages and things like that are, exquisite.
Jericho did it the week before, where he was trying to billboard it too.
That's his problem too. Well, you mean the guy that did the song and dance number or did something cartoonish?
It's just the stylized of it, of like we have characters that are rock and roll and American, and now that we have to do something with them, we overlay this lens of fucking, I don't even know, because I don't know.
I think what Vet's kind of saying
that's
is
AEW. That's AEW
interpretation of it.
Yeah, that's AEW, and New Japan doesn't do that.
I'm not. Moxley's thing backstage was not good. So now we have two top guys from WWE doing subpar, no show don't tell, all tell segments, which is the worst thing you can do when you want to kick off with an inciting incident that sets things in motion. So right out of the gate, two bad segments. So now we've really done nothing. Now we get to start the show with fucking Roppongi Vice and
Orange Cassidy. You got Roppongi Vice and Orange Cassidy
tagged together. There's no story there of putting it over versus
United Empire, Will Ospreay, Kyle Fletcher, and Mark Davis.
Aussie guys, nobody fucking knows. Give them TV time. Hey, all those guys we got under contract that we pay for, fuck you, pal. We got these guys. Nobody knows. And they're going to kick off our show after 2 flop segments to start it. Oh, okay.
Vet?
Those Aussie Opens never worked a New Japan match in their life. So don't group them in. That's all I have to say about that. I mean, Will Ospreay's got this thing going on, this United Empire thing. He's got a few people, like he picked up Jeff Cobb somewhere along the way, TJP recently, some Italian kid. So he's kind of like going across different promotions in different countries and like bringing guys into his group. But a lot of these guys have not, like I haven't seen Aussie Open work New Japan yet. So, and you had the guys that are the champs right there in the building, and they just come out to.
It says like the people not tuning in, if they're thinking this is a New Japan show, they're thinking these guys are some New Japan dudes.
Right.
So now everything's fucked out of the gate here, bro. Like,
it's almost like Tony Khan doesn't have experience promoting.
Well, you'd think after doing 770 and 330 last week, we would not be going down this same road of giving people TV time that we have no investment in, nor trust in, or putting our top talent in the hands of them where anything could go wrong. you know.
Yeah.
But I will say, even though there's no heat here because we have no storyline build up and we don't know who any of these guys are except for the babyface team, they went in and did a lot of like synchronized swimming spots, you know what I mean? All three guys got to hit something at the same time, but they turned up the energy to try and get that crowd going because they had a lot of work to do after those two stinkers to kick things off. However, when you do an overbooked 6-man to kick off your show and you do all the false finishes, even JR's like, we've seen a lot of DDTs. It's the first fucking match. We've seen a lot of DDTs. What the fuck, bro? You know, so like, I get it. They're going to do the shitty 6 that's overbooked and everybody kicks out of everything. And they were working their asses off, those guys, but wrong place in the card for that match. Wrong guys to have in that match.
Yeah. Well, obviously you have Roppongi Vice and Cassidy going over. So we got 6 men. Now we're going to continue to use this match to roll some more stories together as you get the Great Okan. I mentioned Jeff Cobb. They come out. The heels surround the baby faces until FTR. They make the run down to the ring for the save.
Well, fucking Senpai Stevie Richards is out here looking for young boys. If anybody's looking to ride e-bikes with him to the beach and go fishing, he's excited for it. But yeah, man, thanks to Big Stevie Cool FLR this morning, man, had a great time talking some.
There might be some marketing there, some Steve E bikes.
Stevie Goon, yeah, Steve E bikes. I like that. There you go. Sorry, what was this segment after?
We got FTR coming out to run off the United Empire, who is now joined by the Great Okan and Jeff Cobb.
Big mistake here because what do we close the show with?
A big brawl.
Big running and big brawl. So we're giving it away here in the beginning, and I think we almost kind of do the same thing in the middle of the show too.
AEW.
Brawls everywhere, baby. They're not just for the women's locker room anymore.
Yeah.
We do have another segment we get backstage. We got Sanjay Dutt. He's joined with his crew. He is ready to celebrate his big debut win as they're going to head to India. Jay Lethal says that he cannot win the Ring of Honor title until Samoa Joe gets back to work, and they mock him for his injury. Lethal says that Joe should defend or vacate. Really time filler here. We'll throw away.
We're doing Ring of Honor business on AEW, headed into a New Japan AEW pay-per-view. Wrong. And dude, Sanjay Dutt been doing this for how many years and ran Impact backstage some nights and can do all that. His new thing is he's excited that he got new pencils, and that's what he does is he throw pencils at people. That's what Sanjay Dutt's gimmick is, bro, as opposed to being a 20-year pro. And then you cut to Jay Lethal, and he sounds like he's doing the Flair impression. So, and then Big Man at least puts something over, but I don't know, dude. Like, again, just super confused. We're watching 3 different federations under the banner of one.
Absolutely. We go on to this is a big segment on the show. Had a lot of people talking. Christian, want to get your takes on this one, gentlemen. Christian Cage in ring segment. He grabs the mic. He wants the full attention. So much of this, he knocks it out of the park. The wheels kind of come off at the end here. But Christian Cage, an absolute pro that he is, throughout this thing. Ben, I'll let you break down word for word. But, through this thing, it seems, the crowd trying to hijack this on this thing. But he is so good, he pulls it right back to where he wants to go.
Absolutely. I mean, we get a fair amount of, Wisconsin and Milwaukee cheap house show heat, after the turn, but that's him with his Donnie Brasco jacket on, getting him to hate him. So he's got him on the edge of the seat, and this promo is going to go for a while.
Does that work early? Because man, he just keeps turning up that dial.
Little bit, but like to me, it's always like, let's get to it. Half short, twice strong, Jizzer, Wu-Tang. Like fucking, you get to it, and we're waiting until he does what? Tells a truth about himself, tells a truth about the fans that you don't know fuck all about my business. You don't know shit. And that I was a father figure to Jungle Boy, but his dad's dead. And he'd be just like, you feel the fucking air get sucked out of the room. everyone's like, people might say that's cheap heat, but he's saying truths, and he says truths about himself that he's only there for the payday. You think I give a fuck about what you think? Like, you feel the scene get grounded instantly and really has teeth on it. And then they even do the cutaway post show to what happened last week to go off the air with the big heat with Perry's daughter and ex. And the daughter,
her having the hots for him, and
yeah, that you want some of this shit. And then we come back to the ring, and he gets a little heated on the mic. I would do that if the mom wants to bang me and da da da. But then Lucha Gimmick comes out and posts him in the corner, starts choking him, and he's able to talk him down from the violence and whispers in his ear. And then they're buddies. Like that killed the scene. Here's the thing. He had a lot of good stuff there, and that's just Christian knowing what he's got to do, and he's going to say some shit. I'm sure he cleared it with Jungle Boy about, I'm going to say something about your dad. I'm not just going into business for myself. But when you do the carny wrestling stuff on the end, and it's Luchasaurus, where's Jungle Boy to run in and loot Thez and fucking get on Christian? So Christian's got to back him off and fuck you. And, you know, and that's not Luchasaurus's spot to do any of that shit. And it made it really wrestling phony after making some really great moments on the mic and showing, you know, younger talent. This is how you promo. This is how you don't rush through it and take your time, because it's your moment in the spotlight there. So some great choices. But here's the thing with Tony wanting to put that Luchasaurus wrestling shit on it. This is Improv 101. You edit at the high point. You don't get to the top of the mountain and come back down a little bit and then edit. You feel the scene slip away. And did you guys feel that scene slip away when they did the Luchasaurus stuff on the end?
Mm-hmm.
As soon as the music hit, I was this is done. Why are we
editing at the high point in improv? It'd be like somebody, we call it a sweep edit. Somebody just runs in front of everybody, and it's like the Star Wars wipe onto the next scene, right? But fucking like what would have been the edit there would have been Jungle Boy running in hot and us having to, but we've already got 2 other run-ins on this show with 90 other guys. But this is the only scene on this entire show that meant anything. Everything else is forgettable and throwaway. And fucking Christian even puts it over. Why don't you guys try having a match that people talk about longer than a week? You know, try and build to something that has what he's saying is build to something that has emotion in it, and people will talk about it forever if it's a spectacle like the ones I've put on in my lifetime. So a great scene, but definitely should have had some stuff trimmed off of it.
Vet, any little tidbits to add there?
Yeah, number one, as soon as a dinosaur walks in, you can't be grounded anymore. That's just the thing. The reason it was him, though, Ben, is because there was a concerto last week, so I'm not going to eviscerate anybody in AEW for selling something that's supposed to put him out. Okay. So that's why he can't come in and do it.
Tremendous point.
Yeah, this was the best justification I've ever heard in the history of wrestling for turning on somebody. Because it happens so often. It's the laziest booking decision ever. It's like, well, this guy ain't getting over. Let's hate him. This actually, the explanation he gave made some sort of sense. So I'll give it up for that. Of course, you know, like you said about the Luke Perry comment being cheap heat. Nah, man, that's the most expensive heat you can get because that shit's real. You're not talking about a sports team. You're talking about somebody's dead fucking dad who everybody in the world knows. So yeah, that's not quite cheap heat. But it was, brilliantly delivered. And what would have been the best way to do it, right, Ben, to your point, is let him walk out of the ring with everybody just like, what the fuck just happened? And then when we come back from commercial, he's walking back there somewhere, and then Luchasaurus grabs him and jacks him up against the wall.
I don't have a problem with. I think,
and then it looks like a camera. I don't even care if it's fucking what's the jabroni Young Bucks cameraman walking by. Oh yeah, like captures it.
Well,
you know
the way
what I mean?
to do things like this, and I thought with MJF that in where they can blur the lines, except they're all social media marks, is you don't do that for the TV show. You do that for AEW, and not even AEW Instagram. Who's somebody? We'll pick somebody. I don't care if it's one of the blondes, the hot blonde chick. What's her name? Fucking married to the guy who got canned. Hannah J or one of them. I don't pick one.
Penelope, good old Penelope.
Yeah, whoever the fuck, one of the chicks that's hot and whatever, and
they got quite a few of them.
They're sitting there doing their own Instagram story thing backstage, and over their shoulders something starts happening, and they flip the camera and they get it in a very voyeuristic way of fucking, the Luchasaurus.
You could have had the baddies TikToking or something back there.
No mask on Luchasaurus, like really putting it to fucking Christian backstage, you motherfucker, da 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 da. And it gets leaked out that way. So it looks like real heat, organic, something backstage that's not made for the TV show to be phony wrestling.
Basically anything but what they did.
Yeah, absolutely.
The only thing that immediately jumped out to me when he was going at the fans, you don't know what's happening here. And he's telling that story about putting in the time to get the trust, to wait for his moment, to collect that paycheck. I wish they would have explained and reintroduced the outwork everybody shirt.
Yeah, because it means something else. I worked you. You're a fucking mark, and I worked you. And that you could say at the con if you want, but my contract's ironclad, motherfucker. So if you want me on your TV or not, you're gonna pay me. I don't give a shit. I loved when he said, "I didn't come in here to put over young guys and be enhancement talent and get them over. I'm here because I'm who the fuck I am." You know what I mean? So stick to that. That was all great truths that grounded that scene after we got corny house show shit in the beginning to fire him up. He really was doing a concerto out there. He was fucking directing the crowd, being a symphony conductor and when it was time to get real and get that moment. And I agree, it's not cheap heat when you're talking about somebody's dead old man. Like, that takes balls, but you got to be able to set it up instead of going, ha, your dad's dead. Like, fuck that, bro. And your old man would have thought you were a little bitch too. But just like I do. Like, that's the stinger, bro.
Big Ray said his beautiful wife was genuinely pissed off that they went there.
Good. Good.
They got what they were going for.
Because if you haven't watched shit in 10 years and Edge and Christian's on there and you just happen to be flipping through and he tells you that fucking talking to Luke Perry's kid that fuck your dad's dead and you suck. Some old 90210 fans are going to go, God damn, what's going on here for a minute? You know what I mean? And that's, if Big Ray's wife is the test case on that, how many out of 100 elders can you fucking reach, But that was the only glimmer of genius in this entire show. That one little segment right there, and that's a problem.
Well, next up we have we're handing out that final golden ticket, the last seat at the table to crown the new AEW All-Atlantic champion. Of course, it's going to be a four-way match that's going to happen at the Forbidden Door. Malachi Black going over Penta in this one. Fans highly anticipating, especially the AEW fans that love that go out there and get it done every way you can match. Again, Black picking up the win, and he advances on to that fatal four-way. Hamsam, after this match really intensifies here. I also like this the promo there from Miro post-match was pretty intense.
Yeah, Miro, not the way I'd want to bring him back. I'd have the belt on him right now. We've laid this out the last couple of weeks of how he should have gone over on Punk and sent some interim champion bullshit. I popped on Botchamania this week where they showed the new Atlantic title and it has a Japanese flag on it. Not in the Atlantic Ocean, guys. They're just more asinine, dumb wrestling shit. And this is the get your shit in spectacular with these two guys. And I think one of them's working hurt. If everybody's always working hurt, but I didn't look into the headlines of who was it at House of Black that might be having an injury right now. But what was the finish on this? I can't remember off the top of my head. Black Mass, he fucking him with the kick. Yeah. I don't know.
And, Black goes up to the top, but Penta hits him with a leaping Ngazuri, and then hits a super fear factor. Both men are down until Penta finally manages to crawl to Black. 1-2. No, Black gets his boot on the bottom rope. Penta goes for the Penta driver, and Black gives out his back gives out, allowing Black to recover and hit the Black Mass for the pin.
Yeah, I wish they would have worked a better back heat than what I seen if you're going into that finish like that. if you hit me with the fucking whatever super diaper driver or whatever the fuck it is off the second, you can pin me on that. You don't got to worry about anything.
It was Buddy Murphy of the group is injured. He finally works a match in like 6 years and he gets injured.
Well, I'll say this:
get off the gas,
off the fucking gas, bro. Your body your tendons and ligaments are not made to handle that level of muscle mass and perform at the level of a high level swimmer, that you need to cardio wise. You can't have it both ways. So if you want to look like an Adonis and not work on character and then get hurt, then guess what? You got to learn how to do character after that, because now your body is just going to keep failing you, man.
He's probably supposed to be about 165 pounds. He's looking about 210. That's unnatural. You will get hurt, period.
100%, bro.
Black moving on. He's going to be in that Fatal 4-Way again at Forbidden Door for the new championship. Quick segment here. Wardlow says that he wants the TNT title, and once Scorpio Sky is healthy, he'll welcome him to Wardlow's world. Real brief mention to him there, and a whole lot to grow that program. We do have the continuation here. A lot going on, especially post-match, but we got Adam Cole on commentary.
I just got to slide this in there. I saw this on the sheets that I didn't talk about it. How about Wardlow? I saw that he wants to be like the sex symbol for AEW, like Reigns is, you know what I mean? Where for the MILFs and all that shit. And I say lean into it, bro. You know what I mean? If that's what you're gonna do, what they did to break him down from where he was with MJF to now mid card, fuck it. If you can get the sex appeal going to make him mainstream, that's an interesting concept of where he could go to not really have to do anything but squashes. He has to get better at PR appearances in order to do that kind of stuff. But I could see him definitely filling that role, because I don't think they really have anybody that I think of, because it's such a 18 to 49 male demographic, or, saying that men are women and fucking every other goddamn thing. Where's the sex appeal for the mainstream woman who wants to see the Thunder from Down Under fucking, what was the stripper movie that fucking...
Magic Mike.
Magic Mike shit. Like, doesn't have to be that, but like, how do we tap into that audience? There's a fucking guy who sure as hell looks like he could fucking turn some heads. Interesting. But yeah, so you guys at home, get ready, because Wardlow's coming to fuck your mom.
Get ready for those warlords coming at you.
There ain't nothing you can do about it.
Back to one of those guys that used to have those leading man good looks. He's been thrown under the bus, especially by Booker T with that flabby body he's got going on now. Adam Cole out on commentary is Hangman Adam Page. He battles Silas Young. Hey, this is another case, man. I'm a big Silas Young fan, but what do we know about him? He's just always a Ring of Honor guy. Here he comes.
Super wrong, right? Like, I like Silas Young as well. I think anybody who's doing I'm one of the last of the old school men, kind of got that Doc Holliday feel a little bit to it. I like it, but we got that with Butcher and Blade. Why the fuck are you using Butcher? You know what I mean? Or if Blade or somebody's hurt, why not put Silas in to at least give him the AEW rub? We're just bringing Silas Young in out of nowhere. Nobody believes Silas Young's going to go over, not because he's incompetent, but because he's the ROH guy that hasn't been built versus the guy who has. So very weird. I guess people like, well, him and, I'm sure Vet has seen this, that him and Young had a big feud in ROH and carrying that story over. What about your stories? What about AEW? What about the ongoing story of Hangman Page? It's just to do these things for the mark nostalgia sake of somebody like, but they fought in 2019, and that
we can simply look at numbers and know that only a small portion ever even knew that existed.
Yeah, exactly. But they put it over with this fucking big spectacle of Excalibur being like, and that goes back to their feud when they fought from Baltimore and Philly and Ring of Honor in 2018, and he fucking beat them with the Michinoku fuck off. And you're just like, who gives a fuck, bro? This doesn't have anything to do with the story we're doing. And then Adam Cole, who has the heat with Page, they have to turn to him. JR turns to him on air and goes, "You still there, Adam?" He's not even saying nothing to get his own character over or tell the story. So what do we do? Dude, it's amateur hour at the Apollo out of here with a lot of guys that fucking Shawn Michaels went, "You're the next me." And they all kissed his ass and him in game. But when it comes time to stand and deliver and understand what your business is and where you fit in the story, when commentary has to go, "Hey, this is your business. You want to get it over?" Live on air, things ain't fucking good. You know what I mean? And nobody cares about the Silas Young match. And Silas Young is a talent that deserves to have a spotlight on him, but you got to build them and introduce them the right way. So this is the fourth segment with guys that aren't on the fucking roster that are now taking TV time on your main show. And he's not a fucking New Japan guy. He's a Ring of Honor guy, which we're not doing.
Well, we do get to the New Japan business, and I'm going to have that kind of lead the way on that. But real quick, man, are they doing a huge disservice if they really want to do anything with this Ring of Honor brand by running out these, what they present us as, these are the Ring of Honor guys, and just putting them down one after another? I mean, why am I going to tune in when I just seen all of them lose on your I guess your age?
It makes no sense, bro. It's like the people who lose the main program on AEW then get to go to Ring of Honor to fight like that program's as important. But if you beat everybody, then none of those all you're saying is every champion underneath could not make it at AEW. So ROH is now the NXT developmental talent. Is that what we're saying here? But most of the people who are on that roster who are going to do business there are better workers than the ones you've got on your own TV show.
Post-match, we do some of the big developments going in the Forbidden Door. We get those that play out here. We get story time with Adam Cole, but Jay White interrupts. Again, he lets them know that, he's going to choose his opponent. Not going to be either one of those. And we get the big introduction into AEW from the man himself there, Vet Okada on the scene. Is this one of the bigger moments for the build for Forbidden Door? What was your take with everybody coming together here from all angles?
Well, it was nice that he actually came. He was just in Japan like the night before or the day before, so he probably stepped off a plane to come in here, which may explain his casual attire. He didn't want to be in one of his custom suits on the plane.
That's tourist Okada. That's one of the best Okadas.
Oh, I know. But yeah, so here's the thing. Like, for various and sundry reasons, Kazuchika Okada is the best professional wrestler alive today. I don't have time to get into all the reasons why, but one of the reasons that's very important is he follows one of the cardinal rules of pro wrestling, which is don't do shit you don't know how to do. Okay? That should be at or near the top of the list for any aspiring pro wrestlers. And the whole thing that this was based around is something that he never does, which is he doesn't get involved in these stupid skirmishes and start throwing punches. I've never seen Okada throw a working punch. He doesn't throw punches. He just doesn't. He might be the best puncher in the world, but I've just never seen him do it. So in this instance where you would need somebody like, this is the Steve Austin spot. You come in and clean house and throw right hands and stuff. And he's just throwing the forearms that he usually throws. And the whole thing is awkward. So the only showcase that you had of this guy is the worst thing or the thing that he doesn't do. So this is just, in a way, this is, part and parcel for this entire episode. It's for this entire company, for everything that AEW is, which is not showcasing people's strengths and minimizing or hiding their weaknesses. And this isn't even something that you can say like you plan to make him look bad. I just think they didn't know that this was going to come off the way it did.
Is this a way of as well that he wasn't booked for this show? And with all the changes that Tony was talking about, like he threw an extra $1.5 million on the table to get him to fucking jump on a plane and be here to walk out like that. Like this was a last minute audible.
It almost would have to be, because it was very puzzling to have Jay White go over for the championship the previous Sunday. It was, a great match and everything, but I was like, is this the time to do it? I don't get it. So there's a lot of questions that even I don't have the answers to, and I've been, puzzling in my mind, but so I can't really answer that, but
Will it be telling if they make that change real quick back in Japan? If Okada
maybe
here in a month,
I think
what's the next big one coming up that if he would take it back? Or
I don't know, because the G1's coming up soon, so there's not going to be any title matches for like at least another 6 weeks or so. So I don't really know what they're going to do at Forbidden Door, but it just seems bizarre. The whole thing seems bizarre. It became a 4-way eventually, right? Excalibur says later, and it's a 4-way now. Like, yeah, okay, whatever. Not very exciting, but whatever. It's just a way for somebody to eat the fall. I thought that, going with something like Okada and Hangman would be a compromise. Like, if Okada was the champion, comes in, beats Hangman, that's like the top guy that AEW is willing to sacrifice. That would be like the, the justification for Moxley going over Tanahashi, say. It's like a little bit tit for tat. Like, okay, you get to go over this guy and we get to go over this guy. Like, that's what it was. But when they gave the belt to Jay White, I'm like, okay, well, now I don't get any of this. And he's coming out saying, I'm not defending the belt against anybody. Like, what are you doing here? Go home then. Like, what are you talking about? So the whole thing just doesn't make sense, but this is part of the headache. And maybe one day, RBV, you'll know about this, of trying to get a cross-promotional thing going. You have to appease people, and make compromises and stuff. And there could be a lot of back and forth. I know the biggest issue was because of the working agreement between CMLL and New Japan, they're not having anybody that works for AAA. Like, I think that was a lot of the stuff that maybe Tony was talking about, of like, well, companies don't want to work with me. So like, I think maybe that's what he's referring to. Obviously New Japan's working with them because, they're all there.
Yeah. Well, I think, they pulled like Andrade, Penta, which is another thing. Penta was losing because he can't work that show in Phoenix as well.
Right. So it's just, it's kind of a mess, and who really knows? The other thing about Japan is like a lot of their business is kept very, very quiet, and they kayfabe everybody over there because they're still trying to make the business real over there. So they don't tell. So like when you hear Meltzer saying something, that's like his speculation. He doesn't know shit any more than anybody else does. Nobody talks to him. So we just will never really know the truth of these type of things. But the point is, they did bring in the Rainmaker. He got a reaction. It was nice, but this was the worst possible showcase for him. Yeah, if anybody had never seen him before, if this is anybody's first time seeing him, they're not going to be impressed with this.
I sure wasn't.
Right?
The way he was dressed, the presentation, even a reveal of a surprise. Not really the build-up that was like whatever. And Jay White, I think I worked one show with him maybe, and I didn't have much interaction, but like, is that the guy that's going to fucking get you 20,000 pay-per-view buys off of that promo, off of that segment where it's must-see TV? Another guy over here that we have no fucking clue who he is. We've seen him 3 or 4 times on AEW before, but it just isn't there. And they both look like guys who work at the mall or fucking change your oil at the at the quick stop. They don't look like the size of stars.
Right. Yeah. And like Jay White's great. He's a genius, and he'll go wherever he needs to go and do whatever he needs to do to make his name in this business. They're not showcasing him right either. They're not showcasing their own talent. They're not showcasing other talents. This is just the growing pains of a Mark Booker. But one of the things that
Cole is sad about what Booker T said about him, and that's why he couldn't stuck on the
that's probably what it was, right? I mean, if there's one thing Adam Cole doesn't need to be, it's at a loss for words because he doesn't have much else to go with. But I was going to say, like, maybe with New Japan thinking about expansion and things, do they feel like they need somebody more Western to really carry that expansion? That's always been the thing that we hear, like, oh, I'm trying to break into such and such a market, so you need a such and such a star. And it's like, do you, or do you just need to get somebody fucking over? Don't go with half-hearted, like, cultural trying to give a guy a push just because you think he appeals to a certain. Jay White's from New Zealand. Nobody here cares about New Zealand either. So, it's they want whoever
if they even exist.
if it exists, if wrestling fans want to see who they perceive to be the most over guy.
Sure.
Whoever that is. In this case, it would be Okada. So if they really were serious about Into America, they've got to use that guy and let him usher in the era. They can't just say, well, we need a white dude. I don't know if that's what they're saying, but if that's the reasoning, I don't know. Jay White's a heel. Normally, coming in and burying everybody is not the best endearing move to a new audience. I don't know.
Yeah, this was another forgettable segment to me, man, just based on how they introed, because the match was the setup for everything that went on at the end, but everything that went on in the end had nothing to do with the match. Just to set up that Hangman's in it, and Silas Young is like, hey, thanks for the fucking one-up.
Thanks for the drive, guys. I'll see you.
Yeah, man, it worked.
Go meet the Beard City Bruiser.
Yeah, that guy's going to take his spot when it's offered to him. I'm not trying to fucking shit on him by any means. Like, that's a great opportunity, but it leaves everybody like, And again, Silas Young may be the fill-in because of somebody in the roadmap that's hurt that we don't even know about yet, and card subject to change, but, yada, yada.
All right, following the melee in the arena, we go backstage. This is what popped me a little bit, mainly just because of the message sent at the end. But the baddies are backstage, and you've got Red Velvet out with an injury. But Jade says the show must go on, and they are searching for a new baddie. They're encouraging everyone to hit social media with those selfies and use the hashtags and all that to nominate themselves as a baddie. But what popped me there is at the end is you got Hathaway, keep it clean, keep it PG.
Yeah.
I guess they're getting some. I want to see the stuff, the outtakes that we're not allowed to see.
They're getting all kinds of dick pics and sex getting sent to them with hashtag baddies on there. I like this. I think this is a smart thing to do. We talked about this on a couple shows back, maybe, where it's that interaction and using social media to get your business over and interact with the fans. This is how you do it, not respond to some Mark tweet because they fucking said you look like Jim Cornette or whatever the fucking, like you gotta go full feminism on them. Like, this is how you interact with your audience to get that. And who knows? Because then you have them interacting, but you already have who you want to bring in, and you build them up to make it look like a tough enough rise to the top. I don't know what happened to Red Velvet, if she scorpioned herself into the fucking railing or something like that. I don't know what would be injury enough that would keep, unless she's got like some big full boot on from ACL surgery, to like not let her just be a piece of eye candy. You can be injured and still look fucking hot and no sell, especially if all you're doing is 30-second vignettes backstage where you just stand in the background and you go, girl, that kind of shit. But what I liked about this, aside from that as well, is what did she say to Tony at the end? Stop talking shit or whatever the fuck.
Cut the shit.
So then we get a segment in between, but then we have Statlander and Ember Moon, Athena, whatever, doing their promo. That's a mockery of the baddies, where they're posing down and they're just the fucking alternative girls, right? And then they bury it, the whole concept, and she hits him with "cut the shit, Tony" on the way out. Like, good yes-anding of the game to like edit on something where the audience knows the line. I really like that. But I would have liked to have directed this, because this is decent from Statlander. We've seen her do the UFO thing. I don't care about the blue hair or whatever they want to do to look different. And Ember Moon, what they were on the cusp of it. It was very NXT promo class, not ready for TV. Lots of potential. We need to learn how to commit to the bit better. We need to find the game and turn up the volume on the bit. And that would have actually really punched this up to some of my favorite stuff on the show as well, in a very undercard, smaller thing. We just need the directors to say, there's something there. Let's turn it up to 12. Okay, that's a little bit too much. Let's dial it back 1 or 2, and then we see right where we need to be. So girls who haven't had a lot of character experience trying, we just need somebody to help shape that unmolded clay into a more solid performer.
Looks like not a lot about the injury out there right now. It's just something that was suffered during her last week's Rampage match against Statlander.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure, but that's an opportunity, and that's a very undercard thing. That's not a top storyline, but one of the most intriguing and creative opportunities to do some very fun stuff.
Well, you do. It's good as they continue to keep it short, sweet, and they look like stars.
Yeah, and Jade doesn't have to perform. We're doing story, and even if she is the champ, then she can go in there and squash somebody out real quick. That's fine. And we're back to the story of the crowd interacting with the baddies. That's the business, not Jade being champ. It's just keeping Jade at the top of the mountain with everybody underneath her.
We do follow that up back in the ring with women's action. This might be one I'm just completely missing with there. I've seen some people just say I just don't get the style, how it connects in wrestling. But Marina Shafir back out now with her new partnership with Nyla Rose, taking on the number one contender to the AEW's Women's Championship, Toni Storm. We get a bit of a match here. Doesn't go too long. But in the end, Shafir goes for the pump handle slam, but Storm rolls her up for the pin. Again, the story here, more post-match shenanigans, the theme of the night. The heels on the attack until the champ, Thunder Rosa, comes out and makes the save for her opponent coming up this Sunday, and the babies run the heels off. Good.
This was a 80-20 match. So you know, if you're a booker, you watch this long enough or been trained like Vet and I have, you know that Toni Storm's going over based on how much the heel is taking on the match. This Miss Shafir selling for social media. I know she's been the talk of K100. Roddy Strong's wife, a former horse.
Is it continue to get her out here all because people thought the Thunder was not working with her, and now you're getting all this people crying for the 50-50, give her a shot.
Here, at the end of the day, it's more women's wrestling politics. Who gives a flying fuck? Not that Shafir isn't a trained and serious martial artist. She is. That doesn't translate into character, and it doesn't translate into the timing that you need in wrestling and how to shoot stuff. Even Ronda Rousey has a very big problem with this, of getting that shoot stuff to look like it fits into pro wrestling. Like if you were in a shoot match and somebody gives you their back, you're on them. You're backpacking them. You're trying to get the hooks in, split it. We see it in UFC all the time. And you're going for that choke. We see it in this match. She gets down slow, slides a half Nelson in, completely against what the UFC, because she's trying to do wrestling, and then mix her other shit in, or wherever the hip attack was, and then she comes in with the trip, just like this much air in between like her strikes where they're trying to get it in. If you can't do it and do it safe, then you shouldn't be doing it at all, because you're doing it and making it phony and exposing the business. And that's the problem with a lot of her offense. I think there's money written on her, but even when the commentators are going, she's only had 9 matches, and then I'm going, well, then she probably shouldn't be on your fucking mainstream TV show. She's not ready. If you're making excuses on commentary while her offense looks pretty bad, but she's got all the clout, she's just not getting it yet, that means she needs more reps, whether that's in front of a live crowd in indies, Strictly Dark, where she does 20 matches in a row, and then you had her on there. But to get her out there and make excuses on commentary while we're watching bad work is a problem, bro, on your main show. Why are you giving her the time? And then, Toni Storm goes back over with a fucking roll-up. So, like, there's nothing that's more NXT and, like, amateur 101 in this business than when you work all your heat and then win with a roll-up out of nowhere.
Vet, how do you handle someone that's making that transition from the world of MMA, martial arts, whatever the case might be, or in her background, to get them ready for pro wrestling, to try to help them in that transition?
It just takes reps. That's it. A lot of people aren't willing to help somebody like that because they're looking out for their own spots. So why would you want to help somebody improve? What do I get out of this? I'm competing for TV time as it is, and I'm supposed to teach you your job? Fuck off. That's how people think. I don't think that way. I never thought that way. As a matter of fact, I had to deal with every kind of ex-mixed martial artist, ex-football player, everybody that doesn't know that this shit ain't real and is throwing me to the mat as hard as they can. That's all I did for those years. So the way I dealt with it is I figure out what you can and can't do, and then I just build around that. Toni Storm is a genius worker, and this was the best match Marina Shafir ever had. If you didn't like it, then that's just a commentary on Marina Shafir. Right. So that lets you know where she's at. But
but that's when they're saying, and here's the thing though, that when they're saying what you just said, they said it. This is one of her best matches. To me, right. that instantly exposes the business, right? Because now we're like, all of her rest of her matches sucked because for us it's phony and she hasn't gotten it yet. This is supposed to be about the reality of creating competition, not going, hey, somebody had an adequate match with work rate and they fucking nobody got killed tonight and the girls actually didn't have a botchamania fucking show. Like, that's not what we're trying to do out here, going, she had an adequate match. Oh, she had an adequate phony performance, as opposed to creating a reality where I believe the shooter is kicking the fuck out of the hot little blondie. Like, we're on the wrong plane of existence completely in how we need to be putting this shit together. Even Matt Riddle, who was a far more accomplished martial artist in his career than she was in hers, has gotten the WWE style. You might get a little knee or a fucking spin kick, but pretty much he's wrestling. To go back to your point, Rick, it's about the timing and the rhythm. That's what martial artists don't do that we do, because we have to have this formless form and feel the wah, wah, wah. Oh, they look for the opening and go for the fucking kill right away. So you have to figure out how to get the wah, 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 go for the kill. And she don't know how to do that yet, bro.
Were you saying that the commentators are saying this is a good match or the better match?
The commentators were saying that during
the
fucking thing, like one of her best matches yet. Like, even if she lost, they could have said it was a good effort in competition. Instead, they're just judging like smart boys while it's going on. I'm like, what the fuck?
Don't say that. Well, look, the AEW commentary team gets a little too comfortable sometimes. We all know that, but you shouldn't be saying that. Now, the difference is you take somebody like Thunder Rosa, who, like, we all like Thunder Rosa, but look, come on, she's been doing this 5 years tops. She's not good either. So she's not going to have that veteran Toni Storm presence of like how to deal with somebody like this. So Thunder Rosa gets visibly frustrated in matches that aren't going the way that she wants. She's not, and because she's not good enough to make the match how she wants.
There's
you know what I mean? So that's
person. There's only one person on that roster that's good enough to fucking do. Well,
of course,
Ruby could do it.
No, stop it. Ruby can't do nothing. It's Toni and Serena. Those are the two. Ruby Riott. No, I'm sure she's
not even in the same fucking like. Not even. She's a freshman, Serena.
But she's also compared to Serena. She's a child.
Yeah,
in like where Toni Storm is as old now, as like Serena after Serena been like a 5-year vet. Right, what I mean? So it's like comparatively, she's at where she needs to be. But that all I'm saying is the difference is, someone can work with a crowbar as a tool, and other people just struggle and get hit by the crowbar. That's the difference. So
you got a minute 45 seconds left in this whole show.
There we go. We'll skip over the talking segment, setting up the match here. We'll go to the main event. We got Tanahashi and Jon Moxley taking on Jericho and Lance Archer. Jim, let's let you jump into the damn thing, and this thing ends in a complete train wreck.
Oh, it's fucking Suzuki Goon 101 right here, boys. The great Tony Khan director picture, and at the end, you guys will stand face to face in an anime shinobi suck-off showdown while the world devolves in chaos around you with popcorns to the head, shoot fighting going on, people being choked. But you just stand there and lock eyes. It's the big dramatic moment, and it's going to fucking sell all the tickets. No, it's not. It's going to be too hard to focus on. We're going to see shitty exposed punches. We're going to see dumb stuff. We're going to cut back to the ring, and these guys are going to awkwardly, homoerotically look into each other's eyes. Then we're going to go back to people beating each other up. Then we're going to go back to that, and none of the fucking big Jerry Bruckheimer 360 spin that he had in his own mind of this whirlwind of chaos within the middle. It's the greatest wrestlers of all time, locked in a mortal stare. Like, that's what he wanted. That's not what came off. Not even a little bit, bro. And people are going, what's his name? Tanahashi. He's the greatest wrestler in the world. Well, I thought Okada was the greatest in the world. No, this guy is the greatest of all time. Oh, is he? Then why aren't his feet on the fucking apron while he's going for a tag? And the ref goes, legal tag, while his feet are both off the ground. He's the best? Sure he is. New Japan's number one, everybody. Give me a young boy. Come on. Terrible, bro. This didn't sell one ticket.
They were standing in the ring so long that what they should have done was just eventually just kind of turn to each other and start pointing and laughing at what was going on outside.
Pretty much.
Like, can you believe this shit's still going on? Yeah.
Like, that would have been the thing of the day. Oh, chaos ensues, but two AEW wrestlers find love in the ring and they fucking embrace each other. Like, it's just so. It was so. This whole anime overview of epicness, comic book bullshit that they've tried to. They think they can see the wrestling through the wrestling through that lens, and it comes off as 35-year-old tape trader masturbators with fucking replica belts over their shoulders who get no pussy, fucking cheering for some fucking guys who don't give a shit about them from an island in the South Pacific, bro, is what it comes down to. That's what the whole finish felt like.
Isn't the person you just described the owner of this thing?
Pretty much. And he'll wonder why this week he's at 740 and 310.
All I know is after listening to Ben describe the showdown there at Forbidden Door, all I want them to do is steal the opening to WrestleMania 6 when the cosmoses collide and the stars align. It's the ultimate challenge.
Yeah.
That's all I want.
Yeah, dude. It just, this show just was overbooked the wrong way with people that weren't introduced the right way. And I get cards subject to change, but with all the bad PR that has befallen New Japan and everything else going on, they shouldn't have dedicated the last 3 weeks of their TV shows to doing any business. They should have just fucking done this pay-per-view, moved on, and instead they've set their own company back 3 months by dedicating this wasted time to characters that aren't going to earn them $1 or a fucking viewer.
Here we go. That any closing thoughts? Put yourself over. Let's get the hell out of here.
Yes, just that whatever you thought of this show, do not blame New Japan, blame AEW 100,000%. Trust me. I know you guys don't watch New Japan. You just have to take my word for it. I watch everything, and this is AEW through and through. It doesn't matter if there's Japanese guys there or their own roster. They don't know what they're doing. I keep saying that. We all keep saying
guys,
that.
New Zealand guys.
Random Australian guys. You just never. Ring of Honor guys. Hey, here's Silas Young. Remember him? No? Oh, well, here he is anyway. That kind of thing.
It's all Atlantic.
All Atlantic.
All
right, yeah, and some Pacific, a little bit Pacific. So anyway, yes, Ad Opinion Haver everywhere. You can find me on every show on HMG, probably. Sometimes on the PWC, probably. And don't forget to check out, every Wednesday. Not only the Next Level, but after the Next Level, a couple hours later, don't forget to check out the SRF Fitness Show with Stevie Richards.
Oh, I love it. Good
plug. Man, that's a good show. Between half an hour to an hour, it talks about a lot of interesting stuff. So, hang out with Stevie every Wednesday after Next Level Wrestling Review.
Y'all, you never know who's lurking in the chat, checking in right at the end. Our own Billy Ray Valentine, you guys excited for his new project to get everything going that way. So keep an eye out. We had a huge show last night. We were live on Twitch. It's still up there. I haven't made it private, but we're going to get a Rumble channel going, I guess. Another thing to start, but Janice McAfee, part 3, John McAfee episode. So GGP and I sit down with Janice McAfee last night for very in-depth talk post losing John. Interested to see what that's going to garner from the censorship police in the future, man. But thank you for everyone who ordered cameos this week. Had some fun cutting promos and got some Meltzer 5-star ratings of my own. So thank you for that feedback, you guys. And ProWrestlingTees.com/Ben Hamin sale yesterday. And as always, we want to give value to the Hamin Army, so we give shows like the Fuse a alive away free. But everyone who's subscribing to channelattitude.com, Hamin Media Group, and Russo brand. And if you love Master Shoot, we just are thankful you're spending your entertainment dollar and your time with us while everything else in the world seems to be fucking crumbling. You're with the most like-minded wrestling fans who talk that real shit. Art of the B to the V, what do you got, man?
Hey, we got to get out of here. We got to go take care of that puppy. I ain't got shit.
Yeah. All right, man. We're going to get up out of here. We're 33 strong. My Freemason hand, y'all. Here, twitch.tv/Hamin Media, Ben Hamin YouTube channel. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We just lit it up with the insider from New Japan, my man, the vet, joining us here today on Light the Fuse.
He's not even Japanese.
What? He's not Japanese?
If you need even further clarification, let the Rock tell you in Chinese. Uh-oh. Chinese? We got Jews